Welcome back to Tennis Town, guys. Today I want to talk about Maria Sharapova and whether or not she's the same without the PEDs. So, is Maria Sharapova the same without the PEDs? Well, to be honest, I think no. For those of you that don't know, PEDs are performance-enhancing drugs. Look, Sharapova got a 15-month suspension from the WTA Tour back for her doping case in the 2016 Australian Open. And long story short, it was a drug that was not illegal for a long time and was just made illegal some days before she actually got caught for it at the Australian Open. Now, that was her argument, basically, saying that, she didn't realize that. Basically, she said she didn't get the email. Literally, she said she didn't get the email, she didn't get the memo that the drug had been made, the drug had been now included on the banned list of substances. Now, that was her defense, and so she basically claimed ignorance. And it's crazy because I think Andy Murray actually said it best. A whole bunch of the top players had condemned her at the time. We're not going to revisit that because it was like, a long time ago. But I think Andy Murray said it best. He said, it doesn't make it right. Just because you take a drug that's legal doesn't make it right. And the thing is that regardless of the fact that, irrespective of the fact that it may not have been on the ban list of substances before, the issue is that it is a drug that does enhance your usage of oxygen. It was invented by a Russian chap. I can't remember his name, but basically he said when he invented it that a lot of the Russian militants were on it actually during that Soviet Cold War era. So it really allowed them to enhance their use of oxygen greatly. So if you imagine that you're playing tennis, in Maria Sharapova's case, 3-set match, for sure you're going to have an advantage. In her defense, she's going to say that it wasn't legal at the time, but let's be honest, it did enhance her performance. I have no doubt about that, because it's just that the governing body maybe didn't put it on the banned list because they didn't know of its full effects, or they didn't realize that it was there and being used as a performance enhancer. But of course, as soon as they realized that it could be used as a performance enhancer, they put it on the banned list. So, okay, you can argue that Maria Sharapova technically didn't cheat or whatever at the time. Well, she did actually by the time she got caught. But the thing with Maria is she'd been using that drug for the past 10 years without any problem, whilst it was still legal. So technically, it means that she was actually on that PED. She was on that performance-enhancing drug for the last 10 years. Seeing her now since her comeback, I don't know if it's whether she had some time away from the game or not enough, match fitness or whatever. But to be honest, she doesn't quite look the same as before. And I have to say that it's two things. I think if you come off the PEDs, firstly, it's a mental thing because you're thinking in your head, you're like, oh, wow, like I'm actually off this stuff that was supposed to make me better. So now I'm like, yeah, I'm not so confident now. You know it. Even subconsciously, you can't hide the fact. You can try and tell yourself that you're okay, but you know that you're off that performance enhancer that was enhancing your performance before, and that does make a difference. And secondly, I also think that I really think it did enhance her performance, because if I look at her with the top girls now, in the past she was still able to hit them off the court, and now it just seems like something's missing. Something's just lacking a little bit. She's just lacking that extra, maybe 5% extra that she needs to win those long exchanges, those long rallies that, go more than 10 shots, and she really has to dig deep on a big point. She's just not quite able to get over that. So is it a lack of match fitness? Is it the fact that she's no longer on the PEDs? I think it's actually a combination of both. So it'll be really interesting to see whether she actually gets back to her career best form. Now she's off those PEDs. She's hit 30 now, so for her, probably she's still got a few years left in her, but I have a big asterisk over her performances in the sport of the WTA, in the sport of tennis. And I mean, it's a shame. It's always a shame when you have a great champion that, you have to, we're all athletes here. We're all competitive in nature, and it's always, it's always a shame to have to put an asterisk or a question mark over someone's performances. But unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, I really believe that we have to question Maria's performances in the past. And I think that, if she's unable to reproduce that same form, I think, the question mark just grows bigger and bigger. So that's it from me, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Really loving all your support and comments so far. They're seriously so awesome. Like, I love just, reading them and getting to know your thoughts and feedback on situations. It's great. So I'm going to keep making these videos for you guys. And, please Help support the channel. It means the world. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.